Hello everybody, Jesus the Druid. It's a nice setting sun. Sure, we'll out of that. Happy 2024 summer solstice. Gotta make the most of the sun while I still can. So what I wanted to do in this video was pretty simple. I just wanted to go over the quotes that I have written down in my Bible and maybe discuss them, maybe just have them here for future reference. But don't worry, just because I have them written down in the Bible doesn't mean I'm going to start preaching at you and shove a religion down your throat. That's not my goal with this channel. My goal is conversations, lighthearted fun, that kind of stuff. But also at the same time, some deep truths. That's why I talked about adventure in my first little video, and that's why I'm trying to go over basically my version of meditations, at least the quotes that I have that are what I need. And everybody kind of needs their own quotes, their own mottos. And so these are mine. If I have the ability to say who I got them from or where I got them from, I will, but not everything in here has more or less the citation. So I hope you enjoy. Every great man is the actor of his ideal. Good is more complex than compassion. Secrecy is the potting soil in which all this conspiracy shit grows. Trust me. The roaches don't like it when you shine a light on them. That is from The Expanse. But looking back on history, there are a lot more men who thought they were Alexander the Great than men who actually are. That's also from The Expanse. There's a few that are from The Expanse, and they're fantastic. Love the book series, and it's a sci-fi that really brings interesting questions to a lot of where we're going. So if you want to start a conversation about sci-fi and The Expanse, I'd be more than happy to. Continuing. Every day is a bonus. Every day is a present. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That is why they call it the present. Master Uruguay from Kung Fu Panda. This one's a new one. This one I wrote today from Peter Zeihan, who's a geopolitical analyst that I follow. He says this about geopolitics, but I think this can be super relevant to anybody's everyday life. So he says, if you're going to have an accident, keep it early and keep it small. The ironic thing is that when I wrote that, I actually, on the first pen to paper touch that I had, I broke the paper. So very much embodied the idea of, if you're going to make a mistake, make it early and small. It's also on the first page of my indexes for my Bibles. All right, I'm going to put you down while I can flip the page. And hopefully you like the greenery. Continuing on. Forgive, release attraction, for I fall in love just a little bit every day with someone new. For I love humanity in its entirety to fixate. I can think of the bar, I can think of the valley, only think their existence, only the astral disconnect comfort they give me. So what I mean by that, the first bit is a quote from Hozier's Someone New. That's for me. I don't need to explain that anymore. But I can think of the bar, I can think of the valley. I can think of a populated human place, and I can think of nature. I'm kind of in a valley right now even. I can think of them no matter where I'm at, and their astral disconnect is the only existence that they have in that moment. That astral disconnect, though, can still bring comfort, and it's kind of my version of make sure you remember the happy place, happy moments, no matter how dark it can get. And then here I have written, there are 3 goals: family, community, and humanity. And then I said FCH for kind of each of their little acronyms as to explaining it more. So I said family is the given and to be given. Both as I give mine and as she gives me. Because in marriage is traditionally the combining of two families. So not only are you given the family that you're born in with, and that has its pros and cons for everybody, this thought continues with the second goal, which is community. And you might not have the best family, but you're given the family that you're given. And the lucky thing about being humans, though, about being conscious, willful beings, is that in community we can you can found your own community and your own friends, or you can find yourself within a community that you get comfort from and joy from. And even if you don't right now, there is community to be found. No matter who you are, no matter what your craziness or weirdness or creepiness or whatever adjective that is usually negatively seen by society and community, there is a community for you. And the last part is H, and that's humanity. And that's comes down to compassion as a skill. There's more to this and kind of what I want for humanity, and what that kind of is summed up with in a sentence is that even a school kid, 6th grade middle schooler kid, should be able to build a Bluetooth device. They should be able to, if they want to know about trains, they should be able to tell me all about locomotives and trains. Whatever interests a person passionately, we should compassionately try and get them those skills and have them acquire those skills that they are passionate about. That also goes hand in hand with just being a compassionate human who maybe doesn't have sympathy or empathy for others, but has understanding for others and can communicate and be productive in society. There's a lot wrapped up in humanity, but I think that gives a summary for now. The best place to start is the first place. So continuing on with the quotes that I have. For the unseen is eternal. Doubt or a wavering mind is the opposite of discipline. Resolve is the opposite of doubt. The unexamined life is not worth living. The uninstructed life is not worth loving. When you are in a hole, stop digging. With good grace and with good faith, with people around in alignment with heart, mind, and body, I seek providence with freedom, wisdom, and faith. If you get me, I got you. That's from the boy, the Indian Jesus. Shout out. He's a pretty big inspiration for me being confident on the internet to come out as Jesus and talk to y'all. So, continuing on. What was can't be changed. Don't dwell on it, or you will miss out on what could be. This is another one from Indian Jesus. Guys, got a couple good quotes from him the other day. You are a loser if you are places you aren't wanted. That's I could do an entire little video essay on that, because that's got some meanings. There's I'll give the tease. There's the idea that I don't think I can finish that. There are some losers in the Bible. Let's say that. There are some losers in the Bible that you could definitely go over that quote with a fine-tooth comb and maybe get something out of it. So now, those were the first half of my quotes that I have in the beginning of my margins. And these are the back half of them. There's not really any order to what goes in the front or what goes in the back. I just kind of plop them down and go from there. So I have a couple of concepts that are simple. So the first one is coherent versus incoherent. That could probably be a whole video in and of itself. The ideal of these videos is to be as coherent as possible, and versus if you are incoherent, then you got to do some reevaluating. You got to figure out how to communicate, basically, is what that kind of little idea bubble is about. Second one, right next to it, is disagree but commit. So if you're on a team and you have trust and faith in this team, it's absolutely fine to say, hey, I don't think this is going to be the best outcome. I think we can do better, but I'm overruled in this case, or you're making a real passionate case for whatever we should do. You can disagree, but commit. Go at that plan full force. If it's not life or death, then you can try. I know I probably should write do or do not. There is no try in this from Yoda. There is trying, but the do or do not does come down to, are you in a survival instance? And what Yoda is teaching in that moment is a survival instance. There's also the end arc of forgiveness and redemption, but that's also, I'm Jesus. That kind of is an embedded assumption of a foundational principle. So continuing on, we have the end of the world is just the beginning. It's another Peter Zeihan quote. That's actually one of his books that I hope to get, is the end of the world is just the beginning. It's got a nice ring to it. This is a thought that I wrote. An inventors, the person who's inventing, their greatest dream is for their invention to be taken for granted. The go-to example that I give for this is the plow. A bunch of different societies use the plow, but nobody remembers who created the plow. Collars, saddles, horseshoes, stuff that we more or less need, and more or less are older technologies, ancient technologies. We just take them for granted. Even now, there's a lot of modern people who take modern things for granted. If you're not mind blown by technology, I don't know what would blow your mind. Continuing on with the quotes, for the words are written, the lines only need to be read. If you're going to entice someone malevolent back onto the path of proper being, you have to be as cunning or canning in your good as they are in their evil. I believe most of this page, when I turn the page, it'll stop being Jordan Peterson, but most of these are Jordan Peterson. I just didn't write that down. The only way you're going to possibly start is by doing it wrong at first. This goes back to the trying. It's okay to try. Do or do not is not always the case. It's only the case in survival. Quote, and to continuously fail and make mistakes. Parenting, marriage, an adventure, a venture, a career. There isn't learning without the death of previous learning. The reason we think is so our thoughts die instead of us. I had to rest along the way to get to my destination. So rest, and then come back to it. You can tell you found a really interesting question when nobody wants you to answer it. I'm scared as shit, but I'm prepared for it. If you do want to use more and more energy, if we need to invent better ways for the world to get richer. The script over the doors of hell, writ small, always win. Maybe life is just the kind of game that a particularly daring god would play because it has an infinite cost. Death. That's also a Jordan Peterson quote. Live like you're dead. This is a more lovey-dovey kind of quote. For the future love of my life, it would be, your joy pleases me, your happiness makes me happy. That's how you know that you kind of fall in love with someone, when things that they do don't annoy you, things that they Just them being happy, just them smiling is enough to make your day better. Just them not being in a bad mood, just knowing that they're good. Wonderful. Trying to hold 5 things in my hands at once, so fun. Whoops. Almost done. So I am going to preface this quote with, this is another idea that I got from Jordan Peterson. He basically goes into how the Bible is interconnected and how the end references the beginning references the middle references everything. So, and that's how a good story is written. So the quote I have written down is, live a life like how the Bible is interconnected. Fight tragedy with love, compassion, and harmony. Also, how many designers of the old wasted paper for pseudo-perfection? Cats and writing, what a combo. Yeah, I think this is the perfect quote to kind of end this video with. This is from Steve Jobs to Steve Jobs, dated Thursday, September 2nd, 2010 at 11:08 p.m. I wrote this on Tuesday, June 18th at 7:24 p.m. He sent this via an iPad to himself. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, yada, 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 you got Google. What he wrote to himself was, I grow little of the food I eat, and of that little I grow, I did not perfect the seeds. I don't make any of my clothes. I speak and write a language that I neither invented nor perfected. I didn't discover the math I use. I am protected by freedoms and laws that I did not conceive of or legislate. And I do not enforce or judge. I am moved by music that I did not create myself. When I needed medical attention, I was unable to help myself survive. I didn't invent the transistor, microprocessor, object-oriented programming, or most of the technology that I work with. I love and admire my species, living, dead, and yet to be. I depend totally on them for my life, for my well-being. I have a feeling that Steve Jobs had knowledge of, or even read, Guns, Germs, and Steel. That book is more or less how I have that same feeling. I understand that the world of humanity, I'm dependent on it. I'm dependent upon society. Yeah, let's make this video that video that I do this one. So I have 3 chronic illnesses. The first one that I was born with was the top of my scalp. Was completely red with eczema. I was lathered in Vaseline and my eczema went away for a bit with just the occasional flare-ups. And kind of hand in hand with my eczema is the fact that I have really bad allergies and I have asthma specifically. And that's basically the tip of the iceberg. The other, and it's weird because the links that these 2 things have is that they're both inflammatory issues that just happen. So eczema, inflammatory issue with kind of the head, and even like my eyebrow will get it. But the other inflammation issue I have is Crohn's disease. Thankfully, I'm in remission due to, let's call them herbs. But I wouldn't be, I mean, because of the herbs and because of me being young and having all the medicines that were pumped into me, I wouldn't be the same without the help from doctors and nurses, and I'd probably be a lot more bitter. With that journey, I'm thankful because I got a lot of bonding with both of my parents. My mom would always take me to get the shots that I had to get every week or every 2 weeks for my allergies, and my dad would take me every 6 months to get the infusions that I would get. I was lucky. Military family has some decent, okay medical for active duty and their dependents. VA is a bit more shaky. And so I'm a military brat with medical issues, and I look like Jesus. Let's get one more shot of the sunset. I care about the beauty in the world. I care about nature. It's kind of hard to see the inside of the bowl because of how dark it is. Yeah, there's trash around me. Yeah, humans can be dirty. Yeah, humans can be annoying. Humans can be deadly too. But I'm not gonna stop being an optimist about it, about humanity, about our prospects. If any species has the gall to become an interplanetary, intergalactic, it's us. Yeah, so if you have any thoughts, please comment. Please subscribe. Got to get to 100 subscribers before I can even have an ad or do anything special. Don't need 100 subscribers. If I get 50, I'm happy with that. If I get 8, I'm happy with that. Just want to keep the conversation going, so like it if you like it. Comment what you dislike about it. Comment what you think is interesting. Whatever rant you might want to post. Yeah. Happy summer solstice.